Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Chris, and today with this video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be sanding the car, putting the base coat and clear coat on it, and finally finishing up the paint. Well, at least the painting part of it. So right now today, what we're going to do is we're going to wet sand this epoxy, which is tough as nails. There's a couple spots that I had to come back and fix a little bit, so there's little touch-ups here and there on the epoxy. We're also going to hit 320 on the hood and the trunk lid of the car so that we can clear coat those. But right now I got my dad sanding his butt off over here trying to hit it with 150 on this epoxy, trying to get it knocked down before we hit the epoxy again with 320 and make it smooth. While he's doing the 320 on the epoxy, dry sanding, I'm going to be wet sanding the hood and the trunk lid with 320 on the clear coated parts. So after wet sanding the hood with 320, you can see it's pretty flat. Still gotta finish doing the body. Doing it right now, just scuffing it real quick with 150, and then we're gonna go back over it right here with 320. As you can see, the trunk lid's all done. Well, half of it. So there you go. There's like a good indication. You can see dust. No dust, nothing. So what I'm going to do now is finish wet sanding this side. Try to get these like ridges out. Maybe you can see it if the light catches it right. And then it'll be nice and smooth. I've already sanded down the roof, the side. Just got to do the front fenders. And we will be good to paint it and clear it. So after having the car completely sanded with 320, every panel, we washed it down with some soap and Dawn, hosed it off, and let it air dry for overnight, basically, and then a little bit of, the next day. After that, all the dust was pretty much gone off it, and it was ready to just inspect it and make sure we didn't miss anything before we go and mask it. Now, some of the parts I decided to paint off the car just so I could get better coverage on them. I wanted to make sure that, the header panel is separated from the front of the car maybe about an inch, and I wanted to make sure that this one was off because it was fairly easy to take off so that, when we go to spray it, I can get good coverage on the actual body and stuff and all on those parts. So after being satisfied with everything that we did on the first step, we actually started masking it off, and we have it all masked off. It was pretty easy. Just had to mask the dash, the wheels, and the hood and the trunk lid. So now we're going to wipe it down with some final clean, make sure that there's no wax or grease or any residue on there. We'll probably wipe it down maybe 2 or 3 times just to make sure that the car is really clean before we spray it. So I didn't record any of the times of me actually spraying because you can't really get much out of that. It's just me spraying, so it's just dusty and messy. But this is the car after all the 2 to 3 coats of base coat were put on there on the door jambs and on the body. The reason why I say 2 to 3 is because the door jambs I only did 2, and then the body I did 3. But everything's looking good. I unmasked everything, and you can still see some light sand scratches in there. But I think after the clear coat's on there, everything will be good to go, and you won't see any of that. Also wanted to add that we did up the mirrors because in the previous video we never even touched on them. We just had them flaked and left them off to the side. So here's the car after we're finished with the clear coat, and I'm actually very happy with it. The paint laid out pretty flat. There is a couple runs here and there on the car that we're going to have to address, but all in all, everything laid out really well. All the scratches hid like I thought they would. Everything looks really good. I'm just going to have to now let it sit for a little while. We'll wet sand it. Probably start around 800 or 1,000, work my way up to 2,000, and then buff it. So be on the lookout for those videos. So yeah, I'm just going to let it run here, and you can just peep out how it's sprayed. I mean, it's decent. There's some orange peel on it, but it'll be pretty good. It's got a nice shine to it. Very good. I'm happy with the body work on it, I guess I should say too. Now on these mirrors, I'm going to probably have to come back, sand them again, hit them with 320 once they dry for a couple weeks, and then re-clear them one more time just so that I can make sure all the body lines are hidden. I'm really happy with the door jambs. I sprayed those actually last so that I had no overspray or anything on them. I didn't want them dry or anything because I didn't want to have to go back and polish them or do anything. So if there's any dry spray, it's on the outside of the car, thankfully. Door jambs look phenomenal. So stay tuned for my next videos because we're going to be wet sanding and buffing this car. We also got to put it back together. We got the hydraulics installed to do. We have a lot to do still to this car before we're going to get it out on the road. Headliner, we're going to put a top on it. We're going to do all that stuff. So stay tuned to the channel, and we'll be bringing you some more content on this car, plus other stuff. If this video helped you or you liked it, please like and subscribe. And until next time, later.